Omicron is out there. It is stalking the streets, if you're to believe the media.
But it doesn't come out after the curfews.
And again, if you're protesting racial injustice, you're perfectly safe from all strands of COVID.
Never forget.
All strands of anything.
Completely, yes, completely. You're very safe. Unless you are a child molester chasing Kyle Rittenhouse, in which case you're not nearly as safe. Anyway, new information coming out. This is from Oxford. The study has not been peer reviewed yet, so take it with a grain of salt. But what they have found, this is coming from The Hill, what they have found is that they released this Monday today, that 2-dose COVID-19 vaccines generate a lower antibody response against the Omicron strain. That suggests that the variant could lead to more infections among the fully vaccinated and previously infected. Now, the scientists go on to say that doesn't indicate that the variant could lead to more cases among those vaccinated with 2 doses. And the takeaway from this, as far as the scientists go, is that, well, folks, we may need yet another booster. And I hear that, and forgive me for being cynical, but the first thing I think when I hear another booster is the same thing that I think when I'm listening to Christmas music on the radio in the morning and a commercial comes on about the vaccine from Pfizer. It just seems like it's all about the money, Joey.
Oh, I completely think it's about the money. It's a brilliant business idea if you think about it, because it means you have to get a new shot every single year, which is guaranteed revenue for these big pharma companies every single year. So I think money plays a big role in it, honestly.
I mean, it's safe to assume that anywhere that big pharma is concerned, it's about money. I mean, sure, they may be doing life-saving drugs for us, but they're also a phenomenally wealthy company that needs to make money and turn a profit.
They have boards they have to answer to.
Exactly. They have investors that are, it's this whole corporation that they have to run. So
go ahead.
Isn't one of the big CDC guys or FDA guys the former Pfizer CEO, or vice versa? It's one of those. There's a ton of ties,
FDA
right?
Heads,
yeah,
I think
almost everybody at the FDA, the CDC, I mean, like anything governmental has at least ties with Pfizer and BioNTech, and basically anybody.
Right.
Has at least ties.
and one of the reasons for that is that giant corporations, they want people who have government connections because they want to make it easier to sell their products, get rid of red tape and those things. That's why lobbyists go after people leave the Hill. They go and become lobbyists for different companies, different organizations because of this exact thing. So it's when we talk about kind of crony capitalism, this is the kind of thing I envision.
Well, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, okay, they want to sell as many vaccines as possible. That means they want to make it as easy as possible to get the vaccine on the market, and they want to push the vaccine as hard as possible. If I were on Pfizer's board and I wanted that to happen, I would be looking for as many people who used to work for the government as possible. Exactly. Wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like that's just an absolute no-brainer. And they're not going to be hard to find, because if you're not involved with Pfizer, as a board member or something like that, if you're smart, you're invested in Pfizer. So it's a good win-win move.
Yeah, and your point that they make drugs that help us, that protect us, that save lives. Yeah. We're all pro-pharmacy. I'm not sure how pro-big pharma I am. And the way pharma becomes big is by a few companies figuring out how to navigate the red tape and the government and get special favors. And then they raise the barrier for entry so high that new labs can't get in.
Right. Well, it's actually a cartel effect economically. They have created a cartel. Everyone just thinks of that as, like, ooh, bad.
Drug lords,
but economically, what big pharma has done, big tech, anything that has kind of monopolized the economy with a couple big companies has created a cartel.